Close your eyes. For a moment, silence the outer world and step into the kingdom within. Here you are free to be anything, have anything, experience anything. Now ask yourself, how does it feel to be a millionaire? Not how to become one, but how it feels to already be one. What does your life look like? What do you wake up to? Where do you go? What do you wear? Who do you associate with? Allow these images to flood your mind, but more importantly, let the feelings sink into your being. Wealth is not numbers in a bank account. It is not physical possessions. It is a state of being, a consciousness you must assume before it becomes tangible. Do you walk with the confidence of a millionaire? Do you speak with the certainty of one who has already arrived? Or do you allow the illusion of lack to dictate your belief? If you desire to manifest riches, you must first remove yourself from the mindset of wanting. For to want something is to affirm that you do not have it. Instead, be it now. Live as though your wealth is already secured, not by reckless spending or empty displays, but by the calm assurance that you are already aligned with abundance. Understand this. The world outside is only a reflection of the world within. If you see yourself as struggling, lacking, or chasing wealth, your reality will mirror that. But if you can persist in the assumption that you are already a millionaire, without a shred of doubt, then the world will have no choice but to conform to that belief. Detach from how it will happen. That is not your concern. The unseen forces will move in ways you cannot predict, bringing opportunities, ideas, and connections that will materialize your assumption into reality. But you must remain firm in the feeling. Every day rise with the certainty that you are wealthy. Every action you take should be done from the standpoint of already being a millionaire. You will notice the shift, the way the world responds to you, the doors that open effortlessly, the synchronicities that guide you. So begin now, not tomorrow, not when circumstances improve, not when you have proof. Now, feel the wealth within, walk in its reality, and soon the world will bow to the power of your assumption. It is already done. The greatest secret to transforming your life lies in a simple yet profound truth. You must assume the feeling of wealth before it materializes in your physical world. This is not mere wishful thinking, nor is it blind optimism. It is the divine law of consciousness. Whatever you deeply accept as true within yourself must eventually reflect in your outer reality. Most people believe that wealth is something to be acquired through external effort alone. They chase money, work tirelessly, and yet remain trapped in a cycle of scarcity because they have never changed their fundamental state of being. They continue to see themselves as struggling, as lacking, as someone who wants to be rich but is not yet wealthy. And this very state of wanting affirms that they do not have. The world outside of you is nothing but a mirror of your inner world. It does not create, it reflects. If you see yourself as poor, as someone who has to fight and strive for financial success, your circumstances will arrange themselves to confirm this assumption. If, however, you shift your inner state to one of already having, already being, already living in wealth, then reality has no choice but to conform to this new self-concept. So what does it truly mean to assume the feeling of wealth? It means to live from the end result, to dwell in the certainty that you are already rich, regardless of what your physical senses may tell you. It is not about pretending, nor is it about reckless spending in an attempt to act rich. Rather, it is a quiet, unwavering confidence, a deep inner knowing that wealth is already yours. When you assume a state, you no longer question it. You no longer seek evidence. You no longer wonder when or how it will happen. If a billionaire loses everything today, he does not panic. He does not worry. He simply rebuilds, because his wealth is not in his bank account, it is in his consciousness. He assumes success as his natural state, and so it must return to him. This is the shift you must make. Begin to see yourself as already wealthy. Walk as though you are a person of financial ease. Speak with the confidence of one who never doubts his prosperity. If an opportunity arises, take it with the certainty that you are deserving of abundance. If an expense appears, handle it with the assurance that money flows to you effortlessly. The key is to immerse yourself in the feeling of already being where you desire to be. What would it feel like to wake up knowing that your wealth is secured? How would you move through the day if you had unlimited financial resources? How would you think, speak, and act? Capture that feeling and make it your dwelling place. Many will argue, but my reality says otherwise. And to that I say, your reality is only the reflection of your past assumptions. Do not be deceived by what appears in the present moment. Instead, hold firm to the new state. knowing that persistence in assumption will harden into fact. This is where most fail. They waver. One day they feel abundant, the next they fall into doubt. They allow the outside world to dictate their belief rather than holding fast to the unseen reality. But those who persist, those who remain unwavering in their assumption of wealth, will find that the world will eventually bend to reflect their new inner state. There is no force outside of you that determines your financial destiny. No economy, no circumstance, no background can limit you once you assume the feeling of wealth. The only limitations exist in your mind, and once those dissolve, you become unstoppable. So begin now, close your eyes, and step into the consciousness of a millionaire. Feel it deeply, live in it, trust it, and soon the world will align to make it so. The key to transforming your life into one of abundance is not to wish, hope, or long for wealth, but to live as if you already possess it. This is the secret that separates those who merely desire riches from those who experience them. The moment you shift from wanting to being, your reality must conform to your new state. Most people make the mistake of constantly chasing their desires. They think about money as something outside of themselves, something they must earn, win, or attract through effort. This mindset keeps them stuck in a cycle of longing, always reinforcing the idea that wealth is something distant, something they do not yet have. But desire alone does not create, assumption does. You must step into the feeling of already having what you seek, embodying the state of wealth in your thoughts, emotions. Imagine for a moment that you are already a millionaire. How does your day unfold? What are the first thoughts that enter your mind upon waking? Do you worry about bills, stress about making ends meet, or doubt whether money will come? Or do you wake up with a sense of ease, knowing that financial abundance is your natural state? The person who is truly wealthy does not obsess over money. They trust its presence, knowing it is always available to them. They do not ask, how will I afford this? Instead, they assume that everything they need is already provided. To live from the end means that you no longer act like someone who is striving for riches. Instead, you move through life as someone who already possesses them. You speak with confidence, not hesitation. You make decisions from a place of certainty, not fear. You carry yourself with the quiet assurance of one who knows that their wealth is secured, regardless of temporary fluctuations in their bank account. This does not mean reckless spending or pretending to be something you are not. It means aligning your inner world with the reality you wish to experience. You may not yet see millions in your bank account, but if you hold the inner conviction that you are already financially abundant, the outer world will begin to reflect that belief. Opportunities will arise, doors will open, and circumstances will shift to support your assumption. Many people fail because they look for evidence before believing. They say, I will feel rich once I have money. But this is backward thinking. You must first feel rich within, and only then will wealth manifest externally. Your subconscious mind does not differentiate between what is real and what is vividly imagined. If you persist in the assumption of being wealthy, your subconscious will accept it as truth, and reality must follow. Begin now. Walk as if you are already the person you desire to be. Adjust your inner dialogue, eliminate thoughts of scarcity and replace them with affirmations of abundance. Speak as though money is never an issue. Make choices as someone who trusts their financial security. Carry yourself with the confidence of a millionaire, and soon the world will reflect that image back to you. The shift happens the moment you stop waiting for wealth and start living as if it is already yours. Do not ask when or how it will come. Simply assume that it already has. Maintain this state unwaveringly, and reality will have no choice but to conform. The world does not create your wealth, you do, by living from the end. One of the greatest obstacles to manifesting wealth is the need to control how it will come. The human mind, conditioned by years of logic and limitation, constantly asks, how will the money arrive? From what source? When will it come? This obsession with the process is what keeps most people stuck in a state of lack. The truth is, your role is not to figure out the how. Your only responsibility is to assume the feeling of already being wealthy and allow the unseen forces to arrange the means. The moment you concern yourself with how money will manifest, you introduce doubt. You begin to analyze, strategize, and question whether your goal is realistic. This mental interference disrupts the natural flow of abundance. The more you try to control the process, the more resistance you create. The universe does not need your help in orchestrating the details. It only requires your unwavering belief in the end result. Think of a gardener planting a seed. Once the seed is in the soil, does he constantly dig it up to check on its growth? No. He trusts that the process is taking place beneath the surface, even though he cannot see it. He waters it, gives it sunlight, and simply waits. He does not worry about how the roots will spread or when the plant will sprout. He knows it will happen in its own time. This is the same faith you must have in your financial abundance. You plant the seed of wealth in your consciousness, nurture it with belief, and trust that the unseen forces are working to bring it into reality. Most people get stuck in scarcity because they focus too much on their current circumstances. They say, "I don't see the money yet, so how can I believe it's coming?" But reality does not work in this way. Your present situation is nothing more than a reflection of your past assumptions. If you keep fixating on what is missing, you are only reinforcing the very lack you wish to escape. Instead, shift your focus to the feeling of already having. Live in the end result. Carry yourself as someone who is already financially free. The moment you stop obsessing over the method and surrender to the knowing that it is done, the way will reveal itself. Abundance flows effortlessly to those who do not resist it. The wealthiest people in the world do not wake up questioning how money will come. They operate from a state of expectation. They trust that opportunities, ideas, and resources will naturally appear. This is not luck. It is a deep-seated belief that wealth is already theirs. Your subconscious mind is the bridge between your inner assumption and the external world. Once you impress upon it the idea that you are wealthy, it will guide you to the right actions, people, and circumstances. But it does so in ways you cannot predict. Money can come through unexpected business opportunities, investments, gifts, promotions, or even ideas that lead to massive financial success. The how is beyond your conscious understanding. When you detach from the process, you allow infinite possibilities to unfold. You are no longer limited to one specific path or outcome. You become open to receiving wealth in ways you never imagined. The more relaxed and certain you are, the faster abundance flows. So let go. Stop trying to control the details. Assume the feeling of financial freedom. Trust the unseen forces and allow life to surprise you. Money will come, not because you forced it, but because you believed in it before you could see it. Gratitude is the bridge between desire and fulfillment. It is not merely a polite acknowledgement of what you have. It is a powerful force that aligns you with the vibration of abundance. Most people make the mistake of waiting to feel grateful until they see evidence of wealth in their lives. But this is backwards thinking. Gratitude must come first. You must give thanks for the wealth that is already yours in the unseen realm, knowing that by doing so, you draw it into physical reality. When you express genuine gratitude for something, you affirm its presence in your life. You do not say thank you for something you do not believe you have. This is why gratitude is so powerful. It creates the assumption of already receiving. If you desire wealth, but your dominant feeling is frustration, worry, or doubt, you are reinforcing lack. But the moment you shift into gratitude, you signal to your subconscious mind that you are already in possession of abundance. Gratitude shifts your entire state of being. When you wake up in the morning and immediately express thanks for financial freedom, even before you see it with your physical eyes, you set the tone for the day. You no longer move through life as someone who is struggling or lacking. Instead, you carry the energy of someone who is already wealthy. This shift does not go unnoticed by the universe. What you consistently assume and feel must manifest. Begin now. Close your eyes and imagine yourself as a multimillionaire. Picture your ideal lifestyle, the home you live in, the freedom you have, the generosity you can extend to others. As you hold this vision, feel deep gratitude, as if it is already yours. Say to yourself, "Thank you for my financial abundance. Thank you for the endless flow of wealth in my life. Thank you for the opportunities, the prosperity, and the security that I now enjoy." Let this feeling wash over you. You do not need to beg or plead for money to come. You do not need to wish or hope. Instead, you need to know and give thanks, as if it has already arrived. The more consistently you practice this, the more natural it becomes. Soon, gratitude will not feel like an exercise. It will become your dominant state of being. And when gratitude becomes your natural state, abundance has no choice but to appear. Many people misunderstand the power of gratitude because they see it as something to practice occasionally. But gratitude is not a tool you use once in a while. It is a way of life. Wealthy individuals, whether they are consciously aware of it or not, operate from a place of deep appreciation. They do not dwell on what they lack. They focus on what they have and what is continually flowing into their lives. This focus expands their abundance. The universe responds to your dominant feelings and beliefs. If you walk through life feeling grateful for your wealth, even before it is physically seen, you are energetically claiming it. You are saying, I already have this. It is mine. This certainty moves mountains. The unseen forces of creation align circumstances, people, and opportunities in ways beyond your comprehension. Do not wait for physical proof before you give thanks. That is like a musician waiting to feel joy after the song is played, rather than during the performance. Feel the gratitude now, embody it, let it become the air you breathe, and watch as your world transforms to reflect the abundance you have already accepted as yours. The conversations you have within yourself are the architects of your reality. Whether you are aware of it or not, your inner speech is constantly shaping your world. Every thought, every silent word, and every mental dialogue creates the blueprint for your external circumstances. If you desire financial abundance, you must take control of the way you speak to yourself internally. The mind that habitually entertains thoughts of lack, fear, and struggle will always manifest a life that reflects those beliefs. But the mind that deliberately affirms prosperity, success, and wealth will create a reality to match. Most people live unconsciously, allowing their inner dialogue to run on autopilot. They repeat the same self-defeating thoughts day after day. I never have enough money. Making money is hard. I am struggling financially. Wealth is for other people, not me. These statements, though silent, act as commands to the subconscious mind. And because the subconscious does not argue or question, it simply obeys. The person who indulges in these thoughts finds their life shaped accordingly. If you desire to be a millionaire, your inner speech must reflect that reality. You cannot affirm wealth outwardly while inwardly doubting its possibility. The subconscious mind responds only to the most consistent and dominant thoughts. If you say, I am financially free, but in the silence of your mind you constantly worry about bills and expenses, the latter belief will prevail. This is why transformation must happen at the level of inner speech. Begin now by observing your habitual thoughts about money. Pay attention to how you speak to yourself when you think about wealth, opportunities, and success. Do you affirm your financial freedom, or do you reinforce limitation? If you catch yourself dwelling in lack, do not condemn yourself. Simply replace the thought. Instead of, I can't afford this, say, money flows to me easily and effortlessly. Instead of, I will never be rich, declare, I am financially abundant, and my wealth increases every day. At first, these affirmations may feel unnatural, but as you persist, they will take root in your subconscious, and your outer world will begin to reflect them. Inner speech is more powerful than spoken words because it is the voice you hear most often. The world may tell you that wealth is difficult to attain, that success is reserved for the lucky few, but none of that matters if your inner dialogue contradicts it. A person who constantly affirms their prosperity, who walks, talks, and thinks as though wealth is already theirs, will inevitably see it manifest. Do not wait for physical evidence before you change your inner speech. Speak prosperity into existence now. Imagine what your thoughts would be if you were already a millionaire. Would you worry about money? Would you doubt your financial future? No, you would carry an unshakable confidence in your wealth. You would think thoughts of expansion, creativity, and abundance. Adopt that mindset now. Let your inner speech match the reality you wish to create. This is not wishful thinking. It is a fundamental law of consciousness. The mind that persistently affirms success will see success. The mind that habitually speaks lack will experience lack. You are always shaping your financial destiny through the words you whisper to yourself. Choose those words wisely. Replace doubt with certainty, fear with faith, and limitation with abundance. As you do, your subconscious will respond, and your world will reorganize itself to reflect the new financial reality you have claimed. The key to manifesting wealth, or anything you desire, is persistence. It is not enough to assume the feeling of financial abundance once or twice. You must live in that state consistently, regardless of what your current reality appears to be. The outside world is nothing more than a reflection of past thoughts and assumptions. If you allow temporary circumstances to shake your belief, you will only prolong the very conditions you wish to change. Instead, you must hold steadfastly to the assumption that you are already wealthy, knowing that reality must eventually conform to your dominant feeling. Many people struggle with this concept because they believe what they see with their physical eyes to be the ultimate truth. If their bank account is empty, if their bills are piling up, they allow these conditions to dictate their inner state. But this is precisely why they remain stuck. The outside world is not cause, it is effect. The true cause of your financial circumstances is within you, in the thoughts and feelings you habitually entertain. If you persist in lack, lack will persist in your reality. If you persist in wealth, wealth must appear. Persistence means that no matter what the world presents to you, you do not waver in your assumption. If you have declared yourself financially free, then walk, talk, and think as if that is already true. When doubts creep in, and they will, you do not indulge them. You do not waver. You reaffirm your inner knowing. I am wealthy. Money flows to me effortlessly. My financial success is inevitable. This unwavering persistence is what reshapes reality. Consider the nature of planting a seed. When you plant the seed of a mighty oak tree, you do not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. You do not worry or doubt whether it will sprout. You simply trust the process, knowing that, with time, the seed must break through the soil and manifest as a tree. The same principle applies to your financial abundance. The moment you assume the feeling of wealth, the seed is planted in your subconscious. But if you constantly shift between belief and doubt, if you one day affirm your wealth and the next day worry about lack, you are uprooting the seed before it has time to take root. True persistence requires that you remain loyal to your assumption, even when everything around you suggests otherwise. If you feel resistance, if the world tempts you to revert to old patterns of worry or fear, recognize this as a test. Will you allow external conditions to dictate your state of being, or will you hold firm in your assumption? The choice is always yours. There will be moments when the world presents challenges, when old patterns attempt to reassert themselves. In those moments, remind yourself that persistence is the bridge between imagination and reality. If you refuse to let go of your assumption, reality must shift to align with it. It is not a question of if, it is only a matter of when. Do not seek instant confirmation from the world around you. Your job is not to question how or when your wealth will manifest. Your job is to persist in the feeling of already having it. The more naturally you embody that state, the faster your external world will reflect it. Wealth is not something you chase. It is something you assume, something you become internally first. No matter what your current circumstances may be, hold to the truth that your wealth is already yours. Feel it deeply, persist in it unwaveringly, and know with absolute certainty that reality must eventually align with the assumption you refuse to abandon. Everything you seek already exists within you. Wealth is not something outside of you that you must chase. It is a state of being that you must embody. By assuming the feeling of abundance, living from the end, detaching from the how, expressing gratitude, shaping your inner speech, and persisting no matter what, you align yourself with the reality of financial freedom. The world is simply a mirror, reflecting the thoughts and beliefs you hold most dominantly. When you commit fully to the assumption of wealth, the world has no choice but to conform to it. Do not be discouraged by what your eyes see today. Know that your persistence is creating your tomorrow. Stay faithful to the feeling of being a millionaire, and soon the world will validate what you have always known within. The unseen forces of the universe are already working in your favor, rearranging reality to match your conviction. Trust, believe, and remain steadfast. Your wealth is already yours. Thank you.